Okay, so today we're diving deep into some pretty dense Eastern philosophy. In this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly why making a spiritual vow isn't just, a passing thought or a nice idea. It's actually the absolute fundamental engine you need for true spiritual cultivation. Now, this really challenges a common Western notion of spirituality. A lot of us just assume that a simple, everyday resolution to be a good person is totally sufficient, right? Well, the framework we're exploring today completely flips that. It suggests that without a formal, powerful vow, simply being good actually leaves a practitioner totally adrift. Our guide for this is an authentic Thai theological text titled The Importance of Making Vows and Cultivation. This text is fascinating because it lays out exactly how spiritual practice operates at a massive cosmic level.
Section 1. The Spiritual Compass. Finding Direction.
Think of a vow as your ultimate spiritual compass. According to the text, a vow, or panitan in Thai, is an actual awakening of your original pure mind. But it's more than just an internal realization, it acts as a sacred binding contract that you make directly with heaven. The text gives us a really stark contrast here. Cultivating with a vow guarantees that you have guidance toward a clear, set destination. On the flip side, cultivating without a vow is literally described as a blind man riding a blind horse. Think about that for a second. Action without an anchored direction ultimately leads nowhere.
Section 2. The Zen Master and the Novice. The Weight of Intention.
To really illustrate this, the text shares a profound little parable. Imagine a novice monk carrying heavy luggage, walking behind his Zen master. Struck by the immense suffering in the world around him, the novice silently makes a vow to save all beings. The master, suddenly sensing this massive spiritual intention, literally stops, takes the luggage himself, and out of pure respect for that vow, orders the novice to walk in front. But wait, further down the road, they encounter a dark, vast ocean. Overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the suffering he'd have to alleviate, the novice silently abandons his vow. The moment he does, the master senses this sudden loss of intention. He immediately hands the luggage right back and orders the novice to the rear again. The crucial takeaway here? When the vow vanishes, so does the elevated spiritual state. A vow literally determines your spiritual rank in real time.
Section 3. The Three Driving Forces. The Mechanics of Cultivation.
Now let's get into the mechanics. The text details three highly specific forces that get activated the second you make a vow. We have the Buddha force, the karmic force, and the mind force. You absolutely need all three of these to successfully cultivate your spirit. First step is the Buddha force. The text notes that the moment you declare a sincere vow, you aren't doing this alone. You are instantly supported by divine protective energy. Holy beings actually step in to assist you behind the scenes, simply because you've aligned yourself with a heavenly mission. Now, to understand this next force, we really need to look at a very specific theological number mentioned in the text, 60,000. This number refers to 60,000 years of accumulated karmic debt. It's a lot, right? Well, the karmic force is generated by your vow, which acts as a binding guarantee to the universe that you are going to do the hard work to repay this deep historical debt. Essentially, it acts as a massive spiritual line of credit, converting all that negative history into a driving forward energy. Finally, we have the mind force, which provides incredible internal psychological benefits. Because let's be real, our human minds are so easily distracted by the material world. The vow anchors your focus against everyday worldly temptations, as well as heavenly tests. It acts like strict, heavy-duty rails for a train, completely preventing you from derailing. Section 4. Fulfilling the promise, moving into action. So how do we actually do this? The text outlines 4 sequential stages to take a vow from just a thought all the way to reality. First, you consciously set the vow. Second, you announce it. This formally registers it with heaven. Third, you practice it through your daily actions. And finally, you achieve it. Section 5. The power of faith, the foundation of success. To actually sustain that 4-step process, you need one key ingredient: absolute faith. The text shares another great anecdote about a simple villager who desperately wanted to cross a deep river just to hear the Buddha preach. He didn't have a boat, and a boatman jokingly told him that if he had enough faith, he could just walk right across the water. Well, possessing pure, unquestioning belief, The villager literally stepped onto the water and crossed safely. When the Buddha heard about this, he delivered the core message of the parable. Faith can cross the deepest river. You need this kind of unyielding, rock-solid faith to sustain a spiritual vow whenever you face adversity. Now, despite all these mystical forces we've been talking about, the source is very clear. True cultivation is not just some abstract concept. Achieving your vow requires highly practical, down-to-earth effort. It demands strict adherence to moral principles in the real world, and it has to be completely free of hypocrisy. Ultimately, the text boils down the required mindset for spiritual success into two distinct parts. You must hold a broad vision, meaning you see way beyond immediate, everyday worldly concerns to the massive cosmic picture. And you must hold a firm vision, remaining absolutely steadfast, no matter what obstacles or tests come your way. Floating through life, trying to just simply be a good person, is really like wandering through the wilderness without a map. If a sacred, deeply dedicated vow is the true compass required for a meaningful journey, what direction is your spiritual compass pointing today?